Welcome, agents! On today's menu we're having the exotic chest piece, Collector. Introduced in Season 5, Collector exotic chest piece comes with an all-red loadout. 15% weapon damage, 6% critical hit chance, and 12% critical hit damage. Being that the Collector is constructed for a DPS type of build, its talent Hoarder gives plus 3 grenade capacity, plus 50% grenade radius, plus 35% grenade damage, and plus 25% grenade damage for each extra enemy caught in the blast. Automatically regenerate a grenade every 30 seconds if you have less than 2 grenades in your inventory. Doesn't seem to complement the build, but let's think outside the box, shall we? The Collector is designed on the idea that helps boost grenade usage. Keeping that in mind, we can structure our build to boost that explosive damage. Here you can see the loadout I've built to boost explosive damage. The mask, China Light Industries Corporation gives 15% explosive damage, along with the two-piece Grupo Sombra for an additional 15% explosive damage. Of course, we have the Collector as our chest piece, and with the Grupo Sombra being the backpack of choice, its talent is opportunistic, which states enemies you hit with shotguns and marksmen. Rifles amplifies the damage they take by 10% from all sources for 5 seconds. I'll break down on why I chose the opportunistic talent later. The last 2 pieces for the build is the good old 2-piece combo with no biscuit, contractor gloves, and Fox's prayer knee pads for that extra spicy kick we need. With this build, our focus is on maximizing DPS while complementing explosive damage. Going into the stats, you can see we're sitting at 56% critical hit chance and 144% critical hit damage, which is a comfortable ratio to sit at in my opinion. And as for our explosive damage, you can see it's at 30%. Now that we have the build, let's see what the grenade is doing in terms of damage. Using the base concussion grenade, you can see the damage it does, being able to hit upwards of 3 million in explosive damage based on the calculations given by the Collector's chest talent. Not too shabby, but is it enough? Let's see if we can amplify that damage with some minor tweaks. A shotgun here, a specialization there, and bing bong, we've got it. The shotgun in play here is the named Lefty, with the talent Perfect Sledgehammer that states dealing damage with a grenade applies a mark on target. Targets with mark will take 40% more damage to armor and have a minus 30% movement speed. Mark will disappear after 10 seconds. With this damage buff, let's see what it does now. New numbers showing damage upwards of 4 to 5 million. Better, but we still have room for improvement. Going with the firewall specialization instead of the demolitionist, I'm losing an extra 10% in explosive damage. I know, but hear me out. The reason behind the firewall specialization is because of the special grenade it gives us. The Hellspawn egg-laying ball of death I call the cluster grenade. The cluster grenade launches mini grenades, which detonates in a large area of effect. The way it works is, as the initial grenade hits its mark, it launches mini grenades around it within a limited area. The grenade that is thrown initially will explode first, marking all targets in the area of effect with Perfect Sledgehammer. Then it's followed up with the cluster explosion that are now proccing Sledgehammer's damage buff. So in theory, this should amplify its damage well beyond the damage we saw with the concussion grenade. Mary Mother of Jesus, that's a lot of fucking damage, boys and girls. Numbers showing upwards of 10 million in damage. This is great. We're able to utilize the collector's chest by effectively constructing a build to showcase and highlight the talent, while still maintaining a decent DPS output. I call this one threesome, cause it's a win-win situation. Of course, this is the range application of the build, so we have to take in consideration on how this works in the open world settings, and how can we use this build to our advantage. To effectively use this build in the open world, you'll have to revert to your Call of Duty days, and do what you did best there and spawn camp like the noob you are. Being able to camp spawn points, you can trap targets by using skills like Riot Foam or shock traps to hold targets in place before tossing the ball of death. Catching them in the area allows for the collector to multiply the damage based on affected targets. With that being said, the numbers you see in the range versus the numbers you see in the open world will vary. Just understand what happens in the range stays in the range. But no, let's talk about why I chose opportunistic talent for my backpack. As you can see, the open world damage varies depending on the amount of targets that you mark initially. So I opted for opportunistic because of that extra damage I can get while the lefty's equipped. I can also do some damage with the shotgun and proc opportunistic at the same time. It's just the better talent in my opinion. And with that said, we're all done here. Take this build and adjust it to your playstyle. It's just a template for you to play with. Because the collector's talent doesn't work off of weapon damage, you can structure this loadout to be a tank build or a status effect build to aid with the shock traps or riot foam. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed your meal, and until next time, may a chungus trap you in a corner and sodomize you, you filthy animals. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and like, you bunch of degenerates. Love, peace, and chicken grease. I'm out.